Jasmine Crockett just lost. The Democratic Party let it happen. Now, let me tell you the truth that you won't hear on CNN. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. So Jasmine Crockett was in a competitive primary against James Talarico.
We should all be standing together, Democrats, Republicans, and we should all be raising hell. But unfortunately, this was always the plan.
She was out to a big lead in the very beginning. Back in December when she launched, she was killing it. There was no sign of James Talarico. In fact, I'd say 90% of America had no idea who James Talarico was. And that, sir, is not an understatement. Fam, nobody knew this guy. But people in Texas, they warmed up to him. Why? Because he was soft-spoken, easy to get along with. He seemed less divisive.
Oh, you just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Miss
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
And that's really what this came down to. See, what they won't tell you on CNN is that besides being a star, being up against Trump, being a celebrity a political celebrity, roasting people, and what have you, Jasmine Crockett did not have a lot of advantages. How'd she go from being up maybe 20 points to losing by 10? Jasmine Crockett would like to tell you that it was race. Well, in this race, it was more to it than just race. Maybe it was the fact that Jasmine Crockett was outspent 5-1. And that may work in a district race. Maybe you can work around it. You can do your town halls and knock on a bunch of doors. But see, in a state as big as Texas, that dog won't hunt. So she was outspent 5-1. And we're talking about they gave Talarico the ability to put ads up, to get in TV ads, do a lot of TV ads early on. In fact, Jasmine Crockett didn't start putting up TV ads to the very end. That was probably due to money, because TV ads cost a lot of money, and when you got 5 times more money, well, obviously you can run 5 times more ads. Talarico wasn't endorsed by Cardi B.
Listen up, y'all. Early primary voting is happening right now in Texas, and we need Jasmine Crockett to win. She is running for U.S. Senate, and if you want somebody that's going to fight for your right, if you want somebody to fight for your community, if you want somebody that's going to go up there and represent you and represent your issues.
And even Kamala Harris came out in support of Jasmine Crockett. So damn, Tim Black is giving me all these reasons. 90% of races are won by money. Whoever has the most money wins the race. Has nothing to do with race, has to do with money. Of course, race is a factor, gender's a factor. Hell, what kind of weather there is the day of voting day is a factor. If it rains, it's a factor. It's a factor if your dog dies, or if you run out of gas in your car. But money always plays a factor. Number 2, fam. Jasmine Crockett got a lot of black voters, and she was focused on getting the blacks to the yard. A lot of black Americans came out and supported Jasmine Crockett. In fact, 87% of black Americans voted for Jasmine Crockett. Thing is, it just wasn't enough. It's not enough black Americans in Texas to help you beat against James Talarico if he gets white voters and Hispanic voters and 13% of black voters. Well, that's a coalition that they didn't even think was possible. A coalition of voters that may pull some moderate Republicans. That's supposed to be dead and stinking in the Democratic Party. So outspent with money, broader coalition. Those are 2 things that are very relevant, have nothing to do with whether you like Jasmine Crockett or not. But it's more than that. I'm telling you, folks, there's more reasons why Jasmine Crockett lost. And these are things that were controllable for her. You may not be able to control how much money you have. You may not be able to control if you're running against a white pastor, seminary. You might not be able to control that. But you can't control the fact you don't have a campaign manager. Jasmine Crockett did not have a campaign manager. She was not running a very organized campaign. And at the end of the day, a state as big as Texas, you need infrastructure. You need things in place. You can't run this willy-nilly based on your feels. You need somebody who's done it before, who knows what they're doing, and how to build this apparatus that you're going to need to beat a statewide race. Jasmine Crockett was relying on making black people feel like they have to come out and vote for her, celebrity endorsements, how big her social media following was, and race and gender, identity politics. Jasmine Crockett's making decisions in her campaign solely up to her. And let's face it, Johnson, if you're the decider-in-chief on everything in your campaign, and even if people disagree with your tactics, are they going to be able to tell you you're the candidate and the decider? Now you're going to end up with a bunch of yes people around you. Even when you're making a dumb call, they're going to go with you. Why? Because they want to stay employed. They don't want their careers destroyed. Because, I don't know, it just appears to me that Jasmine Crockett may be a type of person that holds a grudge.
How will you make voters who previously have voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to.
Yeah, when you're wearing all the hats, when you're running the campaign, you are the campaign, your social media is carrying the campaign, and then you're running on ego and self-esteem and all that stuff, charisma and all that stuff. That's what's got you in the race. Yeah. You might not want to listen to advice. We got money, we got diversity, we got the coalition that James Talarico have, then we have lack of focus, lack of structure in your campaign. These are a lot of things to overcome. I want my flowers on this one. I told you that Jasmine Crockett was not going to win this race. How did I know this? Because everything you do online does not translate into wins when it comes to the electoral ballots. I learned a thing or two from seeing other candidates lose races. It's gotten so bad that Jasmine Crockett has resorted to basically saying, I was stopped by the Republicans. Though every measure shows the Republicans will do a lot better against Jasmine Crockett than they will against Talarico. So what point would they have to hurt Jasmine Crockett specifically when she's easier to defeat? Doesn't make sense. Then Jasmine Crockett basically was going scorched earth out of frustration, saying that racism in the Democratic Party is what stopped her. When at the end of the day, maybe it was just electability. They didn't think that you would be able to beat the Republican, even if you did beat Talarico, that Talarico actually carries the bigger possibility of winning the whole thing. And at the end of the day, what good is winning the primary if you lose the general?
Yes, we need a fighter. And I was so ready to vote for Jasmine Crockett because I love her. But I voted for Talarico because we need somebody who can win.
Now, Jasmine Crockett had a lot of things to prove. Whether fairly or unfairly, people are looking at the long-range goal, not just your personal ambitions. But if you win the primary, will you carry the general? They want to flip Texas, not just give you a win.
So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote, stand in line, wait in line, and if it means that I got to come out there with you to wait with you, I will do that.
Months, influencers and celebrities type folks in media have been saying Jasmine Crockett is the future of the Democratic Party. But last night, Texas said, What you talk about, Willis? Look that up, kids. You way before your time. Yeah, at the end of the day, Jasmine Crockett, her career in politics may be over. I personally had a problem with her that she would just say anything from deporting undocumented people as like slave patrols, and that black people didn't need jobs working in blue-collar work. and that migrants gonna pick the cotton and black people tired of picking cotton, as if undocumented people only pick cotton in this country. Had a lot of problems with things she said. It wasn't that she's a black woman. It was that she was a black woman who said a lot of shit I just found totally repugnant and against what I think black people need, particularly a foundational black American. But at the end of the day, I was right. So was Stephen A. Smith. Did it have something to do with the way she was going at Donald Trump? I think Jasmine Crockett fell in love with the game. She fell in love with the camera. She fell in love with the soundbite. I mean, it had to be intoxicating. You go from being someone no one knew to being this national, if not international figure. It's a lot of pressure. But I want to know who was in her camp to tell her, pump the brakes. You need to build the leadership. You need to build coalition. You need to build the reputation of getting things done. You need to build more than just being a lightning rod for controversy and roasting Donald Trump. That's not going to carry you. And taking a dump on your governor, Greg Abbott, calling him Hot Wheels, criticizing his disability, anybody else would have been destroyed. But you were able to weather the storm with your popularity. I saw Jasmine Crockett go into the waterworks at some point. I mean, she was holding town halls, which, I mean, I got nothing against that. It's just that this was not the way you run a statewide race. What I do not want to hear is that this has something to do with black men not supporting you. You got damn near 90% of the black vote. You can't get blood from a rock. Yeah. You got about all the black votes you can get. You're going to have to be to get some of them other people to follow you. And as usual, they didn't. As usual, white women and Latinos chose the less caffeinated beverage in Talarico. Yeah. Maybe they didn't want somebody who was going to be fighting Trump. I mean, for God's sake, folks, her opening ad to her race was a video where she didn't say anything that centered totally around her. It was clear, it was obvious. She was running a race that was all about her personality and not so much about the people of Texas. And that, my friends, is not a recipe for success, obviously. Well, folks, I know it's going to be a lot of conversation about this. Jasmine Crockett has not come out and announced her defeat publicly yet, but she was signaling it in her speech last night.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow.
At the end of the day, if you're running only on black votes, you better not take black voters for granted. You should be on every black podcast in the country. And to be honest, I didn't see her doing many away games. No. So which one is it? You're not running a conventional race. You're not focusing on analytics and infrastructure locally or the state level in order to get this going. You're focusing mostly on your social media presence, your followers, and just your ability to hit record and you just talk. Well, why weren't you on every platform imaginable? Why weren't you on every podcast? Why weren't you on the Stephen A. Smith Show? Why didn't you come to the Tim Black Show? Why weren't you everywhere? You just went to safe places like the Breakfast Club. Come on, man. There's so many other places you should have been. It doesn't make sense. Either you're in or you're out. Jasmine Crockett, does she have a future career in politics? Or will she be at a podcast coming to you? Or will she get a show on CNN? Maybe she'll team up with Benjamin Crump and go use some of her civil rights lawyering to make some change in the state of Texas. I'm Tim Black. Till next time, stay courageous, stay bold, but most of all, stay dangerous.